Hello and welcome back to another Inspiration Clan video tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to look at the 4 different types of adjustment layers and just load a few adjustment layers in just to see the type of effects that we can achieve with those adjustment layers. So first things first, let's come down to our adjustment layers. We've got our image open still from the previous lesson. I'm just going to click on our adjustment layers group down at the bottom. Now you can see here we have these dividing lines, so we have a group at the top, so 1, 2, 3 and 4 different types of groups. Now the first group is fills, the second group is adjustments that are going to affect the luminosity of our image, the third group are going to affect the color of our image, and the last are effects. So let's go ahead and test out a couple of fills. So solid color is going to add a solid color fill. We can choose the color that we like. You can see we have our solid color fill there. Let's turn that layer off. What else do we have here? We have gradient fill. So again, pick your gradient and fill overlay, and then we also have a pattern overlay in the fills. Okay, let's turn those layers off. Next we're on to our effects that our adjustment layers that are going to affect the luminosity of our image. So we have brightness contrast, which is a very good and very effective adjustment layer, which is used frequently in a lot of photo compositions and photo manipulations when editing images and compositing images. So we can just affect the brightness and the contrast. Perfect. Now we can look to add a levels adjustment layer. So we go ahead and adjust the levels on our image there. We also have curves. Let's add in a couple of curves there. Adjust our image, and then let's turn these off. Let's go in and add the exposure. So all of these are quite self-explanatory. You can come in and edit away and use these adjustment layers. Okay, so that's the luminosity. Let's have a look at the adjustment layers that affect the color. So let's look at vibrance. So we can come in and turn the vibrance down on our image. Let's turn that one off. Then we've got hue and saturation. Now hue and saturation is a very common technique that we use in a lot of our videos, a lot of our photo manipulation, specifically when we're trying to create unity in the colors between different images placed into one composition. So you can come in, you can affect the reds, yellows, greens, cyans, blues and magentas. You can also colorize in this, so if we wanted to actually color an image in and just drag our slider across, let's turn that off, and you've also got your saturation, so let's increase the saturation there. So go ahead and turn that layer off. We also have the color balance. Come in and make your adjustments in here. We also have the black and white, so it's going to turn our image black and white. Again, we can adjust. We also have our photo filter, so you can come here and add a photo filter. So if I want to add a cooling filter, for example, to give our image a cooler look, you can see there, photo filter. We also have the channel mixer, and we also have the color lookup. All of these layers serve a purpose. All of these adjustment layers serve their purpose. We're not going to go too in depth of to what each one does. I just want to show you quickly that they can be added and roughly what the groups are for. Okay, perfect. So that's all the color, and then we just have our effects at the bottom, so things like invert, for example. We also have posterize, we also have gradient map and selective color at the very bottom. Perfect. So there we go. That is covered what these groups are, what each adjustment layer is for. I just want to cover a couple of other points. Now you see with each adjustment layer, as we click, we've got this properties panel up here. So let's come into the hue and saturation, for example. You can see we have the properties panel here, and this is how we adjust all the settings for each adjustment layer. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that layer on, and as you've seen me doing throughout this video, as I come in and change settings in the properties, it's affecting our image. Now at any point you can double click to bring up this properties panel. So if we close this out, close tab group, and I want to go on hue and saturation, I want to make an adjustment, just double click on this little icon here on the left, and that's going to bring the properties panel up. Equally, as I click on each layer, it's going to cycle through so we can adjust accordingly. So there you go. That is the 4 types of adjustment layers, if you like, the 4 different groups. Thank you very much for joining me in this video. I'll see you in the next one, where we're going to take a look at why specifically we use adjustment layers.